Hi, I said I was gonna do this, so I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible, but I'm gonna do a brief summary of the last 10 years of my life, basically. And, whoops, trigger warnings before we start. There will be mentions of death and mental health problems. Yeah, and just society being awful. Well, the reason I wanted to talk to this about this was, well, back to school is happening, and as some people know, I have barely been to school in the last 10 years of my life, and it began, I think it was early spring of 2010. I am not entirely sure. Or 2011. It was somewhere there, I don't remember. But my sister passed away. And that was like the catalyst of it all. And everything just kind of went downhill from there. I just starting feeling sick, and so I really wasn't able to come to school as often. I felt sick, I don't know, for a pretty long time, and then after the Easter break I barely went to school at all, and it was really hard, actually. I remember one of my classmates asking if I just skipped school, and I still kind of think about that, because I didn't. And no, it wasn't that easy. Soon I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and I had to go on medication for that, and I hated it. I absolutely despise taking my medication. I still don't really like taking it, but I know that I need it. Yeah, this is very hard, because I honestly have a memory gap of a couple of years. So I only have very few memories of those years. But I'm gonna try, and I have a helpful folder. This is my fun folder, basically the last 10 years, in a very boring and negative brief summary. It's everything from doctor's journals and school things and grades and meetings and everything, really. And every time I've gone to a new doctor or a psychiatrist, they have basically had to read most of this. Yeah, that's fun. I don't really know what to say. I was just really depressed. I have had extreme anxiety, and I became what we call here in Sweden home sitters. That's a direct translation, and I didn't find a term in English, so that's what I'm gonna go with. And it's not for people who skip school because they don't like school. It's for people who they really want to go to school, but they just can't do it. It feels kind of like when you're playing Sims and you just click away the action, and they just stop doing it. It's like that. It's like someone else controlling what you're doing, and it's really scary, actually, when you think about it like that. But that's the best way I can explain it. Like you're some kind of puppet or something that can't control your actions. Yeah, that sounds awful when I say it like that, but that's how it felt for me. Jeez. So I basically didn't go to school from 6th grade. I went to the 6th grade twice because I barely went there the first time, and I had skipped a year, so I was originally with people 1 year older than me. Then I did it again with people the same age as me, which worked a couple days. Then it didn't work at all. At all. And that's how it has been since then, kind of. Like, I was so really excited to go to school, everything prepared, and first few days are going fine, or the first day sometimes. And then it just stopped, and we didn't know really why this happened, and no one really had answers then. We tried to go to psychiatrists for kids, but they just said that she won't speak to us, and we can't help her if she doesn't come here. But that's the other thing. It's not just for school things, it's things that I liked to do, like playing the cello and dancing, and all that came to a abrupt halt. And I stopped doing things that I loved, hanging out with friends and all things like that. It was really hard, actually. I just remember my mother mentioned this a couple of years ago, but one of those years the psychiatrist, I think it was supposed to help me, told her, we can't help your daughter because she's not suicidal. I just can't believe how you can say that to someone. It's obviously I was suicidal. I just didn't tell anyone because I don't know. I didn't want to be a burden or something. I don't know. And I just can't understand how you would say that to someone if your job is to take care of their child. I just no. No. Jeez. This is gonna be such a depressing video. But it's an honest one, and I remember first time I wanted, really thought about committing suicide. Was on New Year's Eve. We were playing games with our neighbors and just had fun. And I went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror and just this is hard to talk about. That was probably I think that was the first and probably the closest I have been since then to actually do it. And it still happens sometimes. And it's, the one thing that has always stopped me from doing it is my cat, actually. Because I knew my family would be fine, kind of. They're humans, they can take care of themselves, and I just was so scared of what would happen to my cat if I died. It felt unfair to her. And I think she was 1 or 2 years old when this started happening, and I have no memory of her growing up. No memory at all. Yeah, she has basically been light, the only light I had. Oh god, this is hard. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, for a couple years I lived at home, and nothing happened. I was home, and god, my mom has been such a fucking hero through all this. She's never given up on me or anything. She's always kept fighting, and I just admire her so much for it. She's been so strong. And I know it's been very hard for her. And I love her, and I don't know what I would have done without her, or her help, or her support. Because during this, she also became mentally ill, and she couldn't work, and she stayed home with me and took care of me. And yeah, it was hard. Of course, my sisters were there too. We didn't always get along, but I had them as a kind of made me remember how to interact with people, because without them I'm not sure that I would know really how to speak with people. Oh. Well, so a couple years went by, and we found the school 7 or 8 hours away from home, and it was a school that had that you basically lived in school, which is not very common here in Sweden, I think. And this was special for people like me who had problems with school or going to school or so. And we went there and visited, and they were so understanding, and no one had really explained really to me how this all worked. No one really knew what they talked about. Yeah, and they seemed great and all the things, and we went back and we talked to the commune we live in about it and asked if I can go there because I would need it. That would be very helpful for me. And they said no. They said we can fix that here. We have something like that here. But they didn't. they still haven't fixed anything. They they are still very bad at this, and I can't begin to explain how awful they have been. They're just swept me under the rug and just ignored me. It's kind of hard to keep up hope when the community you live in, the society you live in, doesn't care about you and kind of doesn't want you or your troubles. It's still very hard. And something I think about often. I'm sorry. Well, they said no, and they said we can do that here, and they didn't, and they still haven't. Not the way I needed it, and we actually ended up suing them. I don't really remember how it went. It's in here somewhere, but it's so much, and I don't really know where to start. I honestly don't like looking in this because it's just filled with things that haven't worked, and obviously that's gonna be very hard to look at. But we sued them, and we had a great lawyer, friend to the family, who helped us. I think, we got the right to the kind of school / living thing that I needed. In Sweden we call it an LSS boende. I don't know what's it called in English, but this is gonna be so much me just don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry about that. But we had the rights to it, but our commune thought we can do that here. That's alright, we can fix that here, no problem. We got that. And they didn't. And I remember my mom told me that she wouldn't stop fighting. She would take this up to the God, what's it called? The highest, even in Europe, the highest. You know when I talk about Högsta domstolen. She would go so far, even if it cost a lot, and just at the time we had kind of, I guess, won somewhat. It had been so long, and just that school just wasn't relevant for me anymore. And so still I'm gonna use Swedish phrases or names of things because I don't know them in English. So then in 2015, I think, I moved to an HVB-hem for kids who had problems, and obviously that wasn't where I was supposed to be. That wasn't right for me. It was too much. And they tried to help me the best they could, and but ultimately they didn't really understand either. But I lived there for about 3 years, I think. And now I am actually living at an LSS boende in my own apartment, where I get help on things I need help with, but it's also, the problem with me is I've been to people who look at me just for a couple of days don't actually really see my problem, because I function fine, kind of, mostly. I can cook, clean, wash clothes, and all that stuff perfectly fine. Just takes a lot of energy, and that's the energy I don't really have. So now I lived here for 2 years. Probably not gonna live here for too much longer, because this isn't what I need. This isn't the help that I need. They still haven't. Our commune still haven't stood up to their admit their faults or something. But yeah, I don't really know what to say. Some people have helped a lot. For example, the second school I went to before all of this happened. When it's had been a year, I started the second school, and the teachers there were really nice, and they tried to help me so much they can. They even came home to me with homework so I can do it and work. So they really helped me get actual grades for school then. Somehow, I don't know how, I got a B in Swedish. I don't know how. I remember in 8th grade, I didn't have grades in anything. It was just empty. We kind of laughed about it, because what you gonna do? And I am now 21, and I still have barely started high school. I have tried, and I've tried to go to a special high school. I've tried to go to a normal high school with a special unit, and I have tried doing distance, and just nothing has worked. And it's kind of bad, for trying to keep your hopes up and nothing works. Yeah, God. So I guess I want to thank everyone who has been with me through these years and stayed with me. My friends and family, and everyone else that has helped me in some way or another. And if you or someone you know has gone through this or is going through this, don't be... First of all, if someone you know is going through this, be fucking patient with them. They're going through hell. And they need someone. And if you have any questions or something, anything, and really just want to talk or vent or anything, I just message me, and I'll listen. I can talk to you. I can try to help. I know some other kids that have been in my situation or are in my situation, and I try to help them as best as I can. I just don't want anyone else to have this shitty ass situation as I've been. God, this is a very long video. I'm so sorry. But I just want to help people and spread awareness of this, because it's something that's becoming more and more common. And 10 years ago, no one really knew what it was, and now it's pretty common actually, and it's incredibly sad to see this getting more common. And obviously it's something wrong with our society. We put too much pressure on everyone, and I shouldn't begin to talk about this because and it's gonna be another 20 minutes or something. I'm sorry. But yeah, just be patient with people. You never know what they're going through. And I know from experience, kids can be absolutely terrible and awful and say the worst things. But they grow up too. They most likely will realize their mistakes. And sometimes they will tell you that I know this was a long time ago and I did something awful and I'm sorry. I am so sorry I said that or did that or something. Yeah. Just Jesus. God, I don't know what to say. Yeah, just yeah. Again, if you or someone you know just need someone or just want someone who understands how shitty everything can be, and just say hi. You don't have to, but I know it can be good, and I'm a total hypocrite because I'm really bad about talking about things. I never bring it up myself, but if someone else asks, I'll give them a brief explanation, I guess. I'll try. Yeah. I am sorry this is so long. Anyway, I hope you have a good day. Anyone who's still watching this, I don't know why you would. It's so long and I'm so sorry. But hope everything's alright with you. Bye.